Fellow Stoic, they don't want you to know this. Jealousy hides in plain sight, and these 5 signs will expose it. Jealousy. It's a poison that seeps into relationships, often unnoticed, until it starts to destroy the trust, peace, and connection you once valued. Maybe you felt it. Those subtle shifts in how someone speaks to you, the faint undercurrent of negativity when you share your success, or the way they seem supportive on the surface but secretly hope you stumble. Jealousy is silent, but its effects are loud. It creates tension, resentment, and even self-doubt if you don't recognize it for what it is. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Jealousy hides in plain sight. Most people don't confront it because they are afraid to see it, afraid to admit that someone they care about might envy them. But if you don't see the signs, you leave yourself vulnerable to toxic energy that can disrupt your peace and cloud your mind. This is where Stoicism comes in. The ancient Stoics understood human emotions better than anyone, and they left us with the wisdom to navigate jealousy, both when it's directed at us and when we feel it ourselves. In this video, we'll uncover 5 hidden signs of jealousy that most people ignore. You'll learn why jealous people act the way they do, how to spot their behavior, and, most importantly, how to respond with stoic calm and strength. By the end, you'll not only be able to protect yourself from jealousy, but you'll also rise above it, using their envy as fuel to stay focused on your growth. If this resonates with you, like this video and comment yes. Don't let jealousy creep into your life unnoticed. Together, we'll expose the silent enemy of relationships and learn how to rise above it with clarity and power. Stay with me, because these truths are about to change the way you see the people around you. The silent enemy of relationships. Jealousy is an insidious force, a silent enemy that creeps into relationships and corrodes them from the inside. Unlike anger, which is loud and confrontational, jealousy often whispers rather than shouts. It doesn't announce itself openly, but instead disguises itself in behaviors that can seem harmless at first glance: concern, humor, even what appears to be support. But underneath these masks lies an undeniable truth. Jealousy is born from comparison. It feeds on insecurity and thrives in the gaps between what someone has and what someone else wishes they had. And because of this, jealousy is rarely about you. It's about the other person's inner turmoil, their sense of lack, and their struggle to reconcile your success with their perceived shortcomings. The Stoics understood this dynamic well. Epictetus, always insightful about human behavior, said, "When you see someone with greater possessions or power, do not envy them, for their burdens may be heavier than they appear." This wisdom cuts to the heart of jealousy. It's not about what you have. It's about what they think they are missing. Jealousy doesn't arise because of your success. It arises because your success highlights something they believe they lack. Maybe it's a promotion, a talent, or even the way others gravitate toward you. Whatever the trigger, jealousy takes root not in the reality of what you've achieved, but in the story they tell themselves about what it means for them. This is what makes jealousy such a destructive force in relationships. It's never straightforward, and it rarely manifests in obvious ways. Instead, it hides behind subtle behaviors that are easy to overlook until they begin to erode trust and harmony. Perhaps you've noticed a friend who seems supportive on the surface but can't resist making a sly comment about your accomplishments. "You're doing great, but don't let it go to your head," they say, with a smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes. Or maybe it's a co-worker who gives you faint praise while downplaying your achievements. "That's impressive," they'll say, before casually pointing out how they would have done it differently. At first, these remarks might seem innocuous, but over time, they form a pattern that reveals a deeper discomfort, one that has little to do with you and everything to do with them. Why does jealousy operate this way? In the shadows. Because it's rooted in shame. To admit jealousy is to admit vulnerability. It's to acknowledge an internal sense of inadequacy, a fear that you're falling short in comparison to someone else. And most people will go to great lengths to hide these feelings, even from themselves. Instead of confronting their envy, they project it outward. They downplay your success, criticize your choices, or offer compliments that feel just a little too sharp around the edges. These behaviors are defensive mechanisms, attempts to protect the ego from the pain of comparison. But here's where jealousy becomes dangerous. It doesn't just affect the person feeling it. Left unchecked, it creates a ripple effect, pulling others into its web of negativity. If you're not careful, you can find yourself caught in that web, questioning your worth, second-guessing your achievements, or trying to shrink yourself to make others more comfortable. And this is exactly what jealousy thrives on, your reaction. When you let their envy unsettle you, you give it power. You allow their insecurities to shape your peace. The key, then, is to recognize jealousy for what it is and refuse to take it personally. The Stoics remind us that the behavior of others says far more about their inner world than it does about our own. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom applies perfectly to jealousy. You can't control how others feel about you, nor can you change their behavior. But you can control how you respond. When someone's envy begins to show, you have a choice. You can let it affect you, or you can see it for what it truly is, a reflection of their struggles, not yours. Think about the relationships in your life. Have you ever sensed jealousy in someone close to you? Maybe it's a friend who suddenly seems distant after you share a piece of good news, or a family member who offers lukewarm support when you reach a milestone you've been working toward. These moments can feel confusing, even hurtful, especially when they come from people you care about. But when you understand the nature of jealousy, you begin to see these behaviors differently. You realize that their envy isn't about you. It's about their own sense of lack. And this understanding frees you. It allows you to detach, to protect your peace without feeling the need to explain yourself or win their approval. Recognizing jealousy is an act of self-preservation, but it's also an act of compassion. The Stoics believed in approaching others with empathy, even when their actions were hurtful. Epictetus taught, "Whenever you are offended, remember you are complicit in taking offense." This doesn't mean you should tolerate toxic behavior, but it does mean you can choose not to let their actions disrupt your inner state. You can see their envy as a signal of their own struggles rather than a reflection of your worth. And from this place of understanding, you can respond not with defensiveness, but with grace. At its core, jealousy is a sign of disconnection from oneself, from one's values, and from a sense of contentment. By recognizing it in others, you not only protect your peace, but you also set an example of what it means to live with clarity and purpose. You show that your success doesn't depend on their validation, and that their envy doesn't diminish your achievements. In doing so, you reclaim your power and rise above the negativity. So, the next time you encounter jealousy, remember, it's not about you, it's about them. See it for what it is, a silent enemy of relationships, and refuse to let it pull you down. Comment enemy if you've ever sensed jealousy in someone close to you. And stay with me, because the first sign we'll uncover is one of the most common and subtle, the backhanded compliment. Let's expose it together. Backhanded compliments are jealousy's weapon of choice, a tool that allows envy to hide in plain sight while appearing harmless, even friendly. At first, the words may sound like praise. "Wow, you're doing great for someone your age," they'll say, or "You're really lucky to have stumbled onto such an opportunity." But beneath the surface, there's a sharp edge, a quiet attempt to undercut your success. The beauty of backhanded compliments, at least from the perspective of the envious, is that they mask their intent behind a facade of kindness. They allow someone to express their jealousy without confronting it directly, leaving you to untangle the subtle sting of their words. The Stoics would tell you to focus not on the words themselves, but on their intent. Marcus Aurelius, ever the voice of calm in the storm, advised, "Be like the rocky promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." When someone gives you a backhanded compliment, their words are the waves. They may batter at your confidence, trying to shake you or plant seeds of doubt. But your job is to be the rock, to stand firm and let those waves crash harmlessly against you. You don't need to meet their envy with anger or defensiveness. Instead, you can recognize their words for what they are, a reflection of their own insecurities, not a commentary on your worth. Think about how this plays out in real life. Perhaps you've achieved something you're proud of, a promotion at work, a personal milestone, or a project you poured your heart into. You share your success, hoping to inspire or simply celebrate the moment, and someone responds with, "Must be nice to know the right people." It's a subtle dig, cloaked in an almost congratulatory tone, but it hits differently. Or maybe you worked tirelessly to develop a skill or talent, only to hear, "Not bad for a beginner." Again, the compliment carries a quiet jab, a reminder that someone else isn't entirely happy with your success. These moments sting, but it's important to see them for what they are, not as an indictment of your achievements, but as evidence of their struggle to reconcile your growth with their own sense of self. Why do backhanded compliments hurt? Because they are designed to create doubt. They take what should be a moment of pride and twist it, introducing questions you may not have thought to ask yourself. Did I really earn this? Am I just lucky? These are the seeds that jealousy tries to plant, hoping you'll water them with your own self-doubt. But here's where Stoicism offers a lifeline. Your worth is not up for debate. Your growth, your achievements, and your hard work speak for themselves, regardless of how others try to frame them. When faced with a backhanded compliment, the Stoics would remind you to detach. Epictetus taught, if you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. If you need a witness, be your own. What this means is simple. You don't need their validation. Their inability to celebrate your success says more about them than it does about you. By anchoring yourself in your own sense of purpose and self-worth, you can remain steady, even when others try to shake you. It's also important to understand what motivates this behavior. Backhanded compliments come from a place of insecurity. The person delivering them is grappling with their own feelings of inadequacy, and your success shines a light on what they feel they lack. Maybe they see in you a courage they haven't yet cultivated, or a willingness to take risks that they are afraid to face. Instead of acknowledging their envy, they project it outward, disguising it as humor or constructive criticism. Recognizing this doesn't excuse a behavior, but it does help you respond with empathy rather than defensiveness. Imagine, for a moment, that someone says to you, "It must be nice to have everything handed to you." At first, your instinct might be to defend yourself, to list all the ways you've worked hard for your achievements. But what if, instead, you pause and reminded yourself, their comment is not about me. It's about their perception of their own life. From this perspective, you can let their words pass through you without leaving a mark. You might respond with something neutral, like, "I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had," or simply smile and let the moment pass. Either way, you refuse to let their envy disrupt your peace. The beauty of this approach is that it keeps you focused on what truly matters, your own growth. When you stop reacting to backhanded compliments, you take back your power. You remind yourself that your success doesn't need to be justified or defended. It simply is. And in doing so, you model a kind of strength and confidence that the Stoics would admire. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When someone tries to diminish you, the greatest response is to remain undiminished, to keep moving forward without letting their negativity take root in your mind." But let's not overlook the subtle toll these comments can take over time. Even when you understand their intent, even when you refuse to engage, hearing backhanded compliments repeatedly can be draining. They create an undercurrent of tension in relationships, making you question whether certain people truly have your back. This is why it's so important to surround yourself with those who genuinely support your growth, people who celebrate your success without reservation. And for those who can't, remember, their jealousy doesn't diminish your accomplishments. It simply reveals the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever received a compliment that felt more like a dig? Maybe it came from a friend, a co-worker, or even a family member. How did it make you feel? And more importantly, how did you respond? If those moments still linger in your mind, it's time to let them go. Their envy doesn't define you. Your success, your progress, and your hard work belong to you alone. Don't let their insecurities cast a shadow over your light. The next time someone offers a backhanded compliment, take a deep breath and remind yourself, you are the rock. Their words are the waves, but they cannot shake you unless you allow them to. Comment DIG if you've experienced backhanded compliments before. And keep watching, because the next sign will reveal how jealousy often manifests as an attempt to actively undermine your achievements. Let's expose it together. We've only scratched the surface. Jealousy wears many masks, and each one has the potential to unsettle your peace if you're not prepared. The next signs will dive deeper into the subtle ways envy tries to knock you off your path and how Stoicism can keep you steady. Undermining your success. Jealousy doesn't just linger in the background, confined to words and subtle remarks. It often grows legs, walking straight into actions meant to undermine your success. It's not enough for someone to envy your achievements. Their jealousy can push them to actively downplay, discredit, or sabotage the progress you've made. These actions are not just random or thoughtless. They are calculated attempts to make you question yourself, to dull the shine of your hard work, and to make your victories feel smaller than they truly are. Jealousy, when it manifests this way, is no longer passive. It's a quiet, persistent force trying to erode your confidence. Imagine sharing a piece of good news with a friend or colleague. Perhaps you've landed a promotion, started a business, or accomplished a personal goal you've been striving toward for months, even years. Instead of celebrating with you, they respond with, "Oh, that's great, but isn't that role super stressful? I'm not sure I'd want all that responsibility." "Oh, I heard that market is really unstable. Hope it works out for you." At first, it might seem like they're expressing genuine concern, but dig a little deeper, and you'll find a different motive. Their words aren't meant to support or encourage you. They are meant to plant seeds of doubt, to make you second-guess your success and wonder if you've bitten off more than you can chew. These comments, though subtle, are corrosive. They don't just challenge the achievement itself. They challenge the pride you take in it. The Stoics understood these dynamics well. They saw how jealousy could twist people's behavior, how it could lead others to act in ways that reflect their own inner turmoil rather than reality. Epictetus offered a timeless perspective on this when he said, "If someone succeeds better than you in something, they are not taking away what is yours." In other words, the success of others doesn't diminish your own, and your success doesn't take away from theirs. But jealous people often fail to see it this way. They operate from a mindset of scarcity, believing that someone else's rise comes at the expense of their own. This scarcity mindset is irrational, but it drives their attempts to downplay or discredit what you've achieved. One of the clearest ways this shows up is in a phenomenon I call the but syndrome. No matter how significant your success, there's always a but. That's impressive. But wasn't it easier for you because you had connections? Your business is growing fast, but aren't startups risky? You're doing well now, but let's see how long it lasts. These remarks are designed to take something away from your achievement. They reduce a major milestone to a fleeting or circumstantial win, robbing you of the pride and satisfaction you've worked so hard to earn. What's important to remember in these moments is that their actions are not about you. They're about them, about their insecurities, their struggles, and their inability to celebrate someone else's success without feeling threatened. It's not your fault, nor is it your responsibility to fix their mindset. The Stoics teach us to recognize that emotions, especially unexamined ones, drive much of human behavior. Jealousy is no exception. When someone tries to undermine your success, it's not a rational response. It's an emotional one. They see in your achievement a reflection of something they believe they lack, whether it's courage, discipline, or simply the willingness to take risks. And because they haven't confronted these feelings within themselves, they project them outward, hoping to drag you down to their level. But here's the thing. Their actions only have power if you let them. The Stoic approach to this is simple, though not always easy. Don't engage. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself to remain steady in the face of external negativity. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "Today I shall meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot distinguish between good and evil." This isn't a cynical view of the world. It's a realistic one. Marcus understood that people's actions often stem from their own struggles, not from any real harm they intend toward you. And knowing this allows you to detach. You don't have to take their behavior personally. You don't have to let their attempts to diminish you succeed. Think of their actions as wind, sometimes strong, sometimes barely noticeable. You feel it brush against you, but ultimately, it doesn't change your course. You remain grounded, focused on your own path. When someone tries to downplay your success, you have a choice. You can waste energy defending yourself, explaining your achievements, and seeking their approval. Or you can stay centered in the knowledge that your work speaks for itself. The latter choice is a Stoic one. It's the choice to remain calm and composed, to let their words and actions pass through you without leaving a mark. But let's be honest, this is easier said than done. When someone you trust or care about tries to undermine you, it hurts. You expect support from your friends, family, and colleagues, not subtle jabs at your accomplishments. The challenge, then, is to rise above the disappointment and protect your peace. Epictetus would tell you to focus on what's within your control, your response. You can't control their envy or their behavior, but you can control how you let it affect you. You can choose to see their actions as a reflection of their own inner struggles, not as a reflection of your worth or your success. Here's where Stoicism offers an even deeper perspective. Instead of viewing these moments as purely negative, you can reframe them as opportunities for growth. When someone tries to undermine your success, it forces you to confront the parts of yourself that might still seek external validation. Are you relying on their praise to feel proud of what you've achieved? Are you allowing their doubt to feed your own insecurities? These moments, as uncomfortable as they may be, are opportunities to strengthen your independence, to root your confidence in your own values rather than in the opinions of others. Imagine yourself as a tree. Your achievements are the fruit, visible for all to see, and your confidence is a trunk that supports them. When someone tries to undermine you, it's like a gust of wind trying to shake the fruit from the branches. But if your roots are deep, if your sense of worth is grounded in your own hard work and character, no wind can uproot you. The fruit may sway, but it remains secure because the tree is strong. Take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever achieved something significant, only to have someone downplay it or try to poke holes in your success? How did it make you feel? And more importantly, how did you respond? If those moments still linger in your mind, it's time to let them go. Their doubt doesn't define your achievement. Their envy doesn't diminish your growth. Your success is yours, and no one can take it away from you unless you allow them to. The next time someone tries to undermine you, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, their actions are about them, not you. You don't need to explain yourself or seek their approval. Your success speaks for itself. Comment success if you've ever experienced someone trying to downplay your achievements. And stay tuned, because in the next section, we'll explore how to respond to jealousy with the calm and grace of a true Stoic. Together, we'll rise above the negativity and protect the peace we've worked so hard to build. Stoic calm, handling jealousy with grace. When jealousy rears its head, it stirs up an emotional storm, not just for the person who feels it, but for anyone caught in its path. In those moments, when envy manifests as criticism, subtle sabotage, or outright hostility, the temptation to respond in kind can feel overwhelming. You might feel the urge to defend yourself, to call out their behavior, or to retaliate with your own sharp words. After all, isn't it human to want to protect your reputation, to set the record straight, to ensure they know you see through their envy? And yet, the Stoics would caution against this instinct. They understood that true strength lies not in reacting to negativity, but in rising above it. Marcus Aurelius, in his infinite wisdom, wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." These words cut to the heart of what it means to handle jealousy with grace, to choose restraint over retaliation, to refuse to mirror their behavior and instead embody calm, composure, and dignity. Let's consider the challenge of this approach. When someone acts out of envy, their behavior can feel personal, even targeted. Perhaps they question your achievements in front of others, making your hard work seem like a fluke or an undeserved stroke of luck. Or maybe they make cutting remarks, thinly veiled as jokes, that chip away at your confidence. In these moments, your ego flares up, urging you to defend yourself, to make them see the injustice of their actions. But the Stoics would ask you, what do you gain by engaging in their negativity? Does their envy deserve your energy? More often than not, the answer is no. Their behavior says far more about their internal struggles than it does about your worth. Handling jealousy with grace doesn't mean ignoring it or pretending it doesn't affect you. It means recognizing it for what it is, a projection of someone else's insecurities, and choosing not to let it disturb your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself of this principle in his meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When someone envies you, their actions are an external event, something beyond your control. What lies within your control is how you respond. Will you allow their negativity to shake you, or will you stand firm, grounded in the knowledge that your success and worth are not theirs to define? Imagine, for a moment, that you've just accomplished something meaningful. Perhaps you've been promoted at work, completed a project you're proud of, or taken a bold step toward a personal goal. You're feeling proud, even excited, until someone's envious behavior intrudes. Maybe they question the legitimacy of your achievement. Wasn't that opportunity just handed to you? Or perhaps they make a sarcastic remark. Don't forget us little people now that you're so important. It's subtle, but it stings. Your instinct might be to fire back, to defend the effort and dedication it took to get where you are. But what if, instead, you pause? What if, in that moment, you chose to respond with calm rather than defensiveness? What if you simply smiled, nodded, and let their words pass through you like the wind? By doing so, you refuse to give their envy the power to disrupt your peace. This isn't about tolerating toxic behavior or allowing yourself to be disrespected. It's about addressing negativity without being consumed by it. When someone's jealousy becomes clear, you can respond without anger or aggression. A kind but firm acknowledgement can disarm their envy. I appreciate your thoughts. I've worked hard for this, and I'm proud of what I've accomplished. This type of response doesn't escalate the situation, but it also doesn't shy away from the truth. It draws a boundary while maintaining your composure, signaling that their attempts to unsettle you are futile. Choose calm over conflict. Choose grace over anger. Comment calm if you're ready to approach jealousy with the wisdom of the Stoics. And hold on, because in the final section, we'll uncover how to transform jealousy into a sign of your own growth, a reminder that you're on the right path. Let's continue this journey together. What if I told you jealousy isn't just something to endure, it's something you can use? The final section will show you how to transform their envy into a source of strength and clarity. Stay with me. Rising above the noise, jealousy, at its core, reveals something profound. You are growing. You are moving forward, breaking through boundaries, and achieving things that others may wish they had the courage or discipline to pursue. Think about it. Nobody envies someone who remains stagnant. Mediocrity doesn't inspire jealousy. Growth does. Success does. Potential does. When you encounter jealousy, whether it's masked in backhanded compliments, subtle attempts to undermine you, or outright criticism. Let it serve as a quiet affirmation that you are on the right path. It may feel uncomfortable in the moment, but jealousy is a sign that your progress is creating ripples, and those ripples are being noticed. The Stoics understood this dynamic well, and they taught us to frame challenges in a way that empowers rather than disheartens. Seneca, always the voice of wisdom, reminded us, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." Think about the depth of that statement. To have an unconquerable mind means that no external force, not criticism, not envy, not the negativity of others, can shake your foundation. It means that you are so rooted in your purpose, so aligned with your values, that the opinions and actions of others become mere noise. And that is the key. Jealousy is noise. It's a distraction, a faint echo that fades when you refuse to engage with it and instead remain focused on your goals. Jealousy is a silent enemy, but with the right tools, you can recognize it, navigate it, and rise above it. By understanding the signs and responding with Stoic wisdom, you protect your peace and stay focused on your path. Like this video, share it, and comment "I am Stoic." Together, we rise above negativity and live with strength and clarity.